there is no meaningful gap between US models and Chinese models. And today I'm going to talk to you about why that is and why for most business owners, you can never pay OpenAI or Anthropic $1 again and you'll be completely fine. First off, let's define terms. Am I saying or claiming that OpenAI and Anthropic are not producing the absolute best tippity-top models? No, that's not what I'm saying. What my claim is that effectively the gap has reduced to such a degree that based on benchmarks and based on my own testing, for a lot of the things that an ordinary business user cares about, you no longer need to worry about which model is actually doing the task for you under the hood. If you've clearly specified what the task is, you're using the right harness, you're prompting right, you've got the right context, models that no one ever really thinks about or thinks totally suck are actually completely fine. One thing I saw recently was how Gemini 3.6 Flash has been completely slept on and disregarded by so many people. When the reality is, as a multimodal model, if you're using it properly, you can get exceptional results with it. Is it GPT 5.6 Soul or Fable? No. But do you really need those models to do things like process invoices, generate PowerPoints, do an audit of a spreadsheet for finance? Probably not. And part of the marketing around the Frontier AI Labs has got everyone into this mindset, especially in Western countries, that only if you're paying for the absolute tippity-top model are you getting the best AI intelligence, and if you're not doing that, you're going to lose or whatever. And this might have been true about 18 months ago, but now, because model performance has improved so much, I just don't think this is true anymore. Models like Kimi K3, Qwen 3.8 Max, GLM 5.2, all these models are perfectly capable of running your business operations if you set up and test them properly. And yes, you might have to use an API endpoint. Yes, it might be a little bit clunky, but more and more products are going to let you bring your own API key, and you can access all of these models via zero data retention endpoints anyway. If you go on OpenRouter, for example, you can just look and see, does this model endpoint have zero data retention? Do they retain the prompts for training? All this sort of stuff. Most of the common objections, the sort of things that come up in enterprise due diligence, have been asked and answered so much. And a lot of the rhetoric and discourse around this whole open weight, closed weight, USA, China model, whatever thing, a lot of it's completely updated because people just aren't in this every day. They're not doing the testing. They don't know what the different models are. They don't know how things work under the hood. And they just read what they read. And far too many people are not realizing that if you're like some small business, you can get away with now, say, $100 a month Kimi K3 subscription, and you're probably going to be fine. You're going to have access to a capability which is going to help you improve your operating model, do things better, faster, and cheaper. Sure, some of the integrations might be clunky, but you're not locking yourself into an ecosystem, and you're going to be able to build out a capability which is a little bit cheaper to run than the inevitable things that come with venture capital-backed Frontier AI model labs. Intelligence too cheap to meter is one of the things which we've wanted for a long time, and I was doing some testing yesterday of DeepSeek V4 Flash, and it's just so cheap that it really makes you wonder what the long-term game for AI pricing is in the West and what the consequences are for that on products and services. Are we going to witness pricing around product and service disruption at the level we might have with the offshoring of manufacturing over the last few decades? Because if you can get access to AI via API endpoint that helps you package up all of your products and services better, faster, and cheaper, well, you're going to face pressure to either add more features and services or cut your prices yourself. Your customers aren't just going to tolerate paying you higher margins when they know that you're using a cheaper AI model underneath it to radically improve the efficiency of your operating model. So this idea of involution, where companies are going to start competing against each other much more aggressively on price and quality because they've effectively got no competitive choice, is something I think we're going to start seeing now, because that gap between China and the US has closed so much. No one is going to care that you're paying Anthropic millions of dollars a month when your competitor is paying Kimi or DeepSeek tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. They're not going to subsidize your vendor decision. And a lot of companies are going to find themselves in an awkward position where they've invested all this money in AI and they're not allowed, for whatever reason, to use open weight models. and they're at a competitive disadvantage in a globalized marketplace for the goods and services that they sell. So however this plays out, it's going to be pretty crazy to see, but this is where I'm thinking at the moment. The gap is so close now. If you're some random small business, what you want to be doing is going on OpenRouter and seeing which open weight models can do what you need at a much lower price. That's what matters now. It's not about rolling out more OpenAI or Anthropic licenses. It's about using the models you have access to today and just shipping use cases to production.